Time for your Friday morning shot of adrenaline. When you think of sailing, you might not think of extreme action, hair-raising speed, or death-defying crashes. A new racing league called SailGP is trying to change the way you look at the sport. This weekend, it hosts the grand finale of its season with a series of races in the San Francisco Bay. That's where CBS Sunday morning correspondent Lee Cowan boarded a 50-foot catamaran to shut off at speeds of almost 60 miles per hour.
Up on land, she looks a bit awkward, long and wide, her lines more aggressive than graceful. But once in the water, the F-50 catamaran is a rocket capable of sailing, yes, sailing, up to 60 miles an hour.
On these boats, you can't just sort of go half speed. It just has to be full throttle or nothing. Like hesitation is actually very dangerous in these boats.
They don't so much float as fly on whiskers of carbon fiber that curl beneath the hull, that lift the boat straight out of the water. It's called foiling, a new class of boat for a new breed of sailor.
It's fun. Who wants to go slow? You know?
Australian Jimmy Spithill is a legend.
And this one is for all the marbles.
He was the architect of one of the biggest sailing comebacks in America's Cup history back in 2013.
America's Cup will stay in America.
But before these boats came along, some of his fellow athletes and friends wondered why he'd even bother with a sport that can be, to a non-sailor at least, like watching paint dry.
As soon as they started watching this, they were like, man, what the hell have you guys been doing all these years? This is friggin' awesome. This is made for TV.
And that is the point of SailGP, a new league founded in 2018 by Larry Ellison, chairman of Oracle and leader of 5 America's Cup campaigns himself. Now in its second season, SailGP has 8 boats representing 8 countries, crewed by some of the best sailors in the world, all hoping to bring the sport of sailing out of the doldrums and into a class with Formula One racing.
But it's going to be Tom Slingsby at a faster angle.
In the old format, we used to race for an hour and a half, sometimes 3 hours. Sometimes the race wouldn't finish. It'd be so slow.
Veteran sailor Russell Coots is the CEO.
Now, when you think about it, our final race is 15 minutes. And so that's very, very geared towards the modern viewership habits.
Says a lot about our attention span these days, right?
There is certainly an element of science fiction to all of this. So much so, director Christopher Nolan put the flying cats on the big screen in his movie Tenet. That kind of mainstream visibility is attracting younger faces to the sport as well. At only 18, CJ Perez is the first and the youngest female sailor to join the SailGP roster.
Women are just as talented, we're just as skillful as these men. We need to join in with them and create a more diverse environment for everybody.
How competitive are you?
I am so competitive, I can't even tell you. This is our time to win. We are working so hard, it's guns blazing.
But blazingly fast boats can bite, too.
Kind of the harder you push, the faster you go. But you cross that line, there's going to be a crash.
Look at the British boat leap out of the water.
In Sydney last year, the Japanese lost their bow after the boat from Great Britain sliced it off in a collision.
Look at the load there.
In Denmark, the U.S. boat came around so fast, it threw crewman Paul Campbell-James clear out of his cockpit. He broke his leg.
I will say he continued to finish the race and then got off, went to hospital and got his leg cast. So,
are you serious?
Yeah, that's the sort of attitude that's in the team.
Up and away.
That's all to say, you better not bring your Chardonnay aboard. Getting on the water with the U.S. team is like joining any cool club. There's a bit of hazing.
It's just nice and easy, just keeping nice and calm.
That was how they teach you what to do if you fall off the boat and get trapped under it. Even to a trained eye, it looks more like a mob hit than a safety demo. But boy, is it effective.
You
I took one of the 6 coveted spots on the crew, which made me feel more like a third wheel on a date.
Right, let's get out of it.
The athleticism of the sailors around me, running and grinding, sometimes against 3 Gs or more of force, was as humbling as it was remarkable. They even sound like a fighter jet, they go so fast. Which has a lot of old salts wondering, if this is really sailing at all.
It's totally sailing. You've got the feel of the wind, the salt spray in your face and everything, and yet you times all of that by like 100. It's beautiful, it's fast, it's dangerous, it's scary. Everything you want in sport, right?
All this high tech on the high seas doesn't mean the age-old art of harnessing the wind is gone. It just means you can now fly like the wind to catch it. For CBS Mornings, I'm Lee Cowan, somewhere in the San Francisco Bay.
Somewhere in the San Francisco Bay, and Lee's okay. I think that is so cool.
It's very cool. And I like the technology.
Is that your way of saying no?
I mean, I want to go to space, but this seems more, in my mind, this seems more dangerous.
Would you, Nate?
I'd do it, yeah. And I'm not an adrenaline junkie at all.
No, absolutely not. But I do.
I think I'd go for it.
I'd watch
but
you do
I wouldn't
that.
want to do it for a living.
Sean,
gotta do it one
I
of
think
these
Nate
days.
is volunteering for an assignment. I would
do
like
it.
to see that. I'd really like to
All right, I'll be watching that too.
Thank you, Lee Cowan.